What's going on, everyone? So the Philadelphia 76ers have some real expectations. Obviously, they have Joel Embiid. They have Tyrese Maxey, who's really taking some real strides and looking like he could potentially be a star in the making himself. And then as well as Paul George coming in, right? Still one of the better two-way players in the league, a star in and of his own right. Guy that can just go win you games by himself. You have this big three. You have plenty of depth. You have a real roster that should be able to compete and even potentially win you an NBA championship, right? Philly's kind of been stuck in this purgatory of like, they just every year, first, second round exit, haven't been able to get over the hump, right? Finally, you have a guy in Paul George who, he hasn't had the greatest track record in recent playoffs, obviously injury histories and stuff. But it's like, if they can stay healthy, if they can put it together, this is a team that could be a force. Right now, you have the Boston Celtics just won a championship. So, they deserve to be the top dog, but the Knicks are right there with them. And then the question is, like, where does Philly rank? Is Philly going to be in that, it's those three, it's the Knicks, the Celtics, or the Sixers, or are they going to be in that next tier where it's like, okay, the Knicks and the Knicks and the Celtics, and then it's like, the Cavs, the Sixers, the Pacers, right? Like, the idea is that Philly is going to be that kind of top-end team. But again, Philadelphia has a ton of concerns. Injury issues. Joel Embiid and his disappearing act in the playoffs at times. Paul George and his disappearing acts in the playoffs at times. Right? Like, are these guys going to be able to be reliable enough? And how much pressure are you going to put on Tyrese Maxey, right? Tyrese Maxey is, again, evolving and emerging in and of himself. And I'm sure a lot of Sixers fans think Maxey's already a star, right? And he very well could continue to grow and kind of take those strides. And, you already got the reports of Joel Embiid's not going to play back-to-backs. Paul George is probably not going to play back-to-backs. Right? Like, Maxey's going to be responsible for a lot. But the Sixers are already falling apart. First off, Paul George. Now, luckily, he avoided any structural damage or anything like that. It's a bone bruise. Like, he's supposed to miss at least 2 weeks, and then he'll be reevaluated. I'd imagine that the Sixers take their time bringing him back. I don't think that they're going to rush him back. I think that they'll make sure he's good, he's healthy, he's ready to go before they bring him back. Because the last thing you want, especially with his injury history, is you rush him back and now he ends up missing the season or something like that. Now you're dead in the water. And look, Paul George is a guy that some real expectations for Philly. Right? Like, you didn't bring him in to play 40 games. You brought him in to be a real piece, to be a real part. Now, obviously, you could argue, hey, as long as Paul George, Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey are healthy come the playoffs, right? But you still got to make the playoffs. You still got to be you don't want to be in a position where you're a play-in team again or something like that. We saw the concerns and issues that Philly had last year, right, without Joel Embiid. The idea is that you get a guy in Paul George who, if Joel Embiid misses 20, 30 games, right, Paul George can be there. Him and Maxey can kind of carry the workload. Or Paul George misses, 20 games, 30 games, right? You have Joel Embiid and Maxey to handle the workload, right? But again, it defaults to Maxey, Tyrese Maxey, having to be essentially healthy and so impactful this season. Problem is, Tyrese Maxey is already hurt. So you have Tyrese Maxey now, who, yes, so he missed the last preseason game, and it was said to be precautionary, right? They just want to be safe. Okay, that's fine. But supposedly he has a I think it's a thumb contusion. It said finger contusion, but I believe it was a thumb, right? That if you end up getting Maxey dealing with injuries and even just like knick-knack stuff, it's not good. Because the other two guys are not very reliable and don't have a history of being very reliable during the regular season and the playoffs as far as injury-wise goes. Right? Like, then get to the playoffs, and if they're healthy, you're good. Right? Like, good luck beating Philly. But you have to get there, and you need to build that chemistry. You need to build that on-court camaraderie. We've seen a lot of teams put together guys. We've seen a lot of teams put together, several, star. I mean, for example, look at the Phoenix Suns. They have Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant, and they're terrible. Right? They were the worst fourth quarter team in the league last year. Now, I do think big threes can work. I do think the Sixers will be better in their big three because I think, you have three guys that do different things and play different positions and stuff, right? Like, it's different. Where you look at a team like Phoenix, all three guys are essentially the same player at different scales. And all three guys, Devin Booker and Bradley Beal are literally the same player and play the same position and everything like that. I think Booker's better, but neither guy is big enough to really play the three. Neither guy is skilled enough as a playmaker to play the point. So it's like you're in this position where it's like it's just clunky. It's awkward. Where Philly, it's like, okay, Tyrese Maxey playing the point guard position, playing the guard position. You got Paul George to play out of the forward position. And then you got Joel Embiid. Let's go. Right? Like, they all do different things. They all give you different looks. They all play different roles. Like, you can see where that could have some real success. But my problem is if Maxey's kind of your one grasp to hope, right? Like, Maxey's kind of like, he's the one thing that you can't afford to be in and out of the lineup or in and out of the rotation all season or dealing with injuries all year. Because Paul George is probably going to be in and out of the lineup and in and out all season long. Now, you're hoping Paul George can give you, 70 to 75 games. Like, that's the hope. You're hoping Joel Embiid can give you, 65 to 70 games or something like that. But, like, they don't have this great track record recently, right? Like, so you look at Paul George, for example. Last season, he played 74 games. If he can do that, beautiful. But you look at the last few years, right? The last time he played anywhere close to 74 games was in the 2018-2019 season. He was still in OKC, right? You look at the Clipper years. He played 48 games, 54 games, 31 games, 56 games, and then 74. That's not great, right? That's the last thing you kind of need. And then you look at a guy like Joel Embiid, right? And again, you need Joel Embiid to play as many games as possible. Now, you look at last season, he played 39 games. The most games Joel Embiid has ever played in his career are 68. So you're talking 39, 66, 68, which was the 2021-2022 season, 51, 51, 64, 63, 31, and then he missed the first 2 years of his career, right? Like, he hasn't been this great model of health from the moment he came into the league. So it's just you need to be able to rely on your other guys. You need to be able to rely on a guy like a Tyrese Maxey who can come in and kind of continue to take strides, right? Maxey played 70 games last year. You need these guys playing 65 to 70 games. You need as much time on the court as possible for them to really kind of build that on-court chemistry and kind of understand each other's roles and stuff, right? Beauty of Paul George is he's willing to do whatever, right? Like, you need me to guard the best player, I'll guard the best player. You need me to go drop 30, I'll drop 30, right? But you have the playoff concerns. You have the injury concerns with Paul George and Joel Embiid. That's what I'm talking about. Now, if you end up having those same concerns with Tyrese Maxey, I don't see this team ever getting over the hump. You need some level of consistency. You need some level of health. You need guys, you need reliability. Like, again, the best ability is availability. And as incredible of a talent as Joel Embiid is, as incredible of a talent as Paul George is, when they're healthy, that's the question. Are they healthy? Can they stay healthy? Can they give you what you need? It's a real question mark, and we'll see. We'll see if this team is able to pull it together. We'll see if this team is able to kind of work it out. And we'll see if guys can stay healthy enough to go win an NBA championship. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you have concerns about the Philadelphia 76ers? Do you kind of like, look, they're already dealing with little injury issues, already dealing with little problems. Oh, and it's not even to mention Joel Embiid coming off of a significant injury last season, right? Like, so again, I didn't even mention that. It's something else worth mentioning, right? So, you got these three guys that you need at least one of them to be as healthy as possible, ideally two, right? Like, if Joel Embiid's only going to play 50 games this year, that's fine, but you really need Paul George and Tyrese Maxey to give you 70 plus, right? Like, again, healthy, you need them healthy. As long as they're healthy, you're in good shape, but can they stay healthy is the concern, is the problem. But again, do you have any worries about them? Maxey, again, I understand it's just a precautionary, but it's not a good sign as far as like the season goes with the Paul George. Like, again, as you start stacking all the news together, it's like, oh, this doesn't look or sound good. But do you have concerns? Are you not? You're kind of in the middle. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.